Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Aviation Podcast. I'm mTars48, and as usual, my co-pilot is Husky Gaming 365.
Hello, everyone.
In today's podcast, one big story and I guess two big stories and one that we thought we'd throw in. The A380 will not be produced after 2020. American Airlines buys the A321neo, which comes as a big surprise. And last and not least, Alaskan Airlines adds more routes. Alright, first point of discussion. A380 getting cancelled. That threw everyone off, blew everyone away. It came as a surprise to a majority of people, and it happened a lot sooner than I thought it would.
Well, number one, yes, it caught us all by surprise, but really, it's not really surprising with the fact of how popular twin-engine aircraft has become. It's just that the Airbus A380 has four engines. It burns fuel up faster. It costs more to operate. It costs more to put more fuel in it, and it's not efficient anymore. And airlines don't want to have to deal with paying more for fuel. It's already bad enough that
oil prices these days are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's already bad enough that some airlines have actually had to close their doors or stop service or completely shut down because of simple fuel costs, and it's not worth the risk.
And the A380 is one of those airplanes where before the A380 was a thing, there was a prediction that there would be a giant surge in air travel, therefore bigger airplanes were going to be needed. And Airbus saw that and was like, okay, let's come up with something. And the A380 is what they came up with. Well, airlines and whatnot had already saw the airplane. Had been at air shows doing demos. Airlines had confirmed orders. Well, then that surge in air travel didn't happen. So now all these airlines are screwed over because they've got this two full-size deck airplane that's four engines, and they're not filling it. And it's a gas guzzler.
Yeah. And airlines just, they don't want to be bothered with it.
And as you can see on the photo, once other airlines stopped buying it, besides ANA, who just bought some and got them late last year, Airbus was really that one screw holding the A380 program together. Well, then it came out last week that Emirates decided to no longer order the A380 and instead go with the more fuel-efficient twin-engine 330neo and 350. And for those who don't know,
Emirates has never even touched. Emirates had never even touched an A350. They never even thought about it. Never even had intentions to buy an A350.
And
now, they've operated the A330 before, which I didn't really know Emirates had operated the A330 for a short time.
Etihad's got a crap ton of A330s.
But now Emirates is back to buying A330s.
And like I said, Emirates was the last screw in the A380 program. Well, then Airbus tweeted out last week that, hey, Emirates confirmed a giant order of A350s and A330s, and lo and behold, later that day, something else had came out, and I forget where I saw it. A380 program gets canceled after 2020. Because Emirates decided they no longer are going to purchase the A380.
Yeah, Emirates is like, you know what? We like the A380, but we're done. We're done.
And in today's world, it's a gas guzzler. It's a monster when it comes to fuel.
Yeah. First of all, the
And
A380 is not filling seats like people thought it would.
the A380,
Nowadays.
it needs special gates because
You're
of
right.
its size.
It's so big it can only land at certain airports. It can only land in certain airports, and in certain terminals have to have enough room just for the wingspan
You
of
know,
the
airports
A380
have to
in order
have
to fit it.
gates specifically for the A380 because the A380 can't park at a gate a 747 can park at.
No, because and some airports actually had to get modified to fit an A380.
The A380 didn't, I no, not to throw Airbus in the ocean and drown them in any way, but the A380 really didn't live up to the hype.
No,
It didn't
not
live up
anymore.
to the
Not anymore. It
hype
hasn't.
that they thought it would. It lasted, the program should have lasted longer, being completely honest. Obviously,
Way longer.
who knows how much longer the 747 800 passenger version is going to last, but that's in like the very first episode. You can go back and listen to us rant on about that. But A380 getting canceled? Well,
Yeah.
you just blew me out of the way on that one, because
I never even expected that.
I kind of saw it coming, just not as quick as it did.
No, never even expected that. I was expecting the Airbus to remain in service for much longer, and when I found out the A380 program was canceled, I was like, "Excuse me, what? Like, there's no way." And lo and behold, Airbus program gets canceled. We're not building them anymore. So at this point, I guess it's safe to say that the A380 is going extinct.
It's not going to be completely extinct. Don't think just because we're coming on here and saying A380 program gets the plug pulled, they're going to be flying for 20, 30 years, depending on how well they're maintained.
Yeah, especially and if there's parts still remaining for an A380, oh yeah, they're still going to be taken to the sky. So there's no need to panic because they're not going to stop flying completely.
If you haven't had your chance to go see one or fly on one, you've got plenty of time.
Oh yeah, so there's no need to worry. Don't worry.
And I've been on one. Okay, wow factor when you first see it, just how big the bloody thing is. But other than that, it was just an airplane, just a really big airplane, and that we flew on. Other than that, after the initial shock of realizing just how big the thing was, I was over it. But like, you've got time. You've got more than enough time to go see one, and if you can afford it, maybe you get to fly somewhere and fly on one. I know for a fact Qantas does LA to Brisbane on them, because we've seen them on Flight Radar. So if you're looking to go to Australia, another good chance is going Dallas to Sydney on one too. But that's to Sydney, and that's like 3.5, 4 hours longer than the one going from LA to Brisbane. Okay, continuing on the Airbus topic.
American Airlines, who I thought at first, nah, I don't think they're buying any more planes. No, completely blew that theory to smithereens. Our friends over at American Airlines decided, hey, you know what? We need some new planes. So why not order 100 A321neos? Now these aren't just any A321neos. Oh no, these are A321neos powered by the CFM LEAP 1A engine, which is one of the two engine options that come with the A321neo. So you have the CFM LEAP and you have the Pratt & Whitney Pure Power 1100 engines.
So basically, You basically just learn what NEO means. New engine option.
Yeah. You have the
Bigger,
A321.
more fuel
You have the
efficient
Neo.
engines.
Yeah.
It's like, because I've seen the Max relating to airplanes, on the topic of airplanes that have been modified with newer engines. I've seen a Max. I can tell what's a Max just by the size of the engines. And the Max, because of its bigger engines, it sits up a little higher. It's a bit taller on the wheels than your average 7.3 is. And you're going to know it's an A321 because the engine size will give it away. The engines are going to be huge. The engines are going to look ginormous on that airplane. And back to the whole, airlines and engines and whatnot. Nowadays, twins are flying as far as 4 engines did 20, 30 years ago. Twins can fly just as far as a 7.4. Especially some of the bigger twins. Whereas ETOPS, and we'll have to do an episode just about ETOPS alone. When ETOPS was first introduced, ETOPS is basically a rule that says, okay, if you have 2 engines, you can be no further than a set amount of time away from an emergency landing airport that you can land at. If something were to happen to an engine, you've got an airport within that flying range of that single engine where you can land safely. And when ETOPS was still new, twins weren't allowed to leave the continental U.S. You could not fly out of the States on a twin or over the ocean. The FAA was not going to let it happen. You had to be on a trijet in order to do it. And now, technology and whatnot, twins are flying across the ocean.
Yeah. And now,
I mean, the 787 has an ETOPS of like 3. The ETOPS already on a 787 so big, why does it even have it?
The ETOPS on the range on a 787 is non-existent.
I mean, it's ridiculous, the ETOPS rating that thing has. But that allows it
to pretty much fly almost around the globe.
Heck, the A350 ETOPS rating has to be even bigger, considering they're flying Singapore to Newark, New Jersey straight through, and that's
19 hours.
Non-stop. And that's
non-stop.
And I don't...
That's not even saying if it's the A350 ULR. That's just a standard A350.
And I'm pretty sure there's no economy on that flight. I think it's all business class and higher.
Ugh.
That's one of those not so cheap flights. I mean, flying as it is isn't cheap anyway because of fuel costs and whatnot. But that's one of those flights where you're going to have to purge a little extra money to fly. Obviously, 19 hours, if you can actually fall asleep on an airplane, then I'm not one of those. 19 hours, you're awake long enough to eat the first meal service, and then you fall asleep for the rest. You can fall asleep and kill off 7-8 hours of the flight. Because that flight's that long. In fact, I saw it on Flight Radar one time. They were at like 41,000 feet. They were up there, and it's weird, but the higher you fly, the more efficient the fuel burn's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because the higher up you go, the thinner the air. So you would psychologically you would think
makes it harder for the engines to actually operate because you need air for the engines to work properly.
but yet you burn way less fuel at that altitude, which is weird. Alright. The final topic. Alaskan Airlines has added new routes, and please ignore the fact that picture is from a video game. More than likely, it's X-Plane. But that is the best image I could find. That wasn't the logo on its own. Husky, do you want to start this one off?
Okay, so Alaska Airlines has just opened up new routes from Seattle, and that's to it's from Seattle to El Paso, and I believe it's from Seattle and San Diego to El Paso, Texas. So props for I'd like to give a little round of applause to Alaska Airlines for broadening their horizons.
And on that note, the news is really old now, but Alaskan will be flying to Columbus, Ohio starting March 7th. So I will have a new airline to see. Non-stop from Seattle, to and from Seattle. I don't know how many times a week or a day it's happening, but it's gonna happen. And for us, that's 2 new airlines 2 years in a row. Spirit and now Alaskan. Obviously, this kind of stuff gets announced in like September and October, and they typically won't start service till the following year. But it's a thing. And it's good for us that, we're willing to work out these deals where it's like, hey, you want to fly in and out of here? We can work a deal out with you.
Yeah. And I gotta say that is a very nice opportunity for anybody, for any plane spotters in the greater Columbus area, to finally be able to get some pictures of something new, something different.
Okay, so quick little throw here. I'm CMH Spotter on Instagram, and on August 29th of last year, I posted about Alaska starting service this year. So that tells you how early they announced this deal. So the airport itself announced it August 29th, so I announced it myself the same day. Yeah, so they're doing daily nonstop flights to and from Seattle. And Columbus will be the airline's first Ohio location. So maybe Columbus is kind of the guinea pig. See how it does, and maybe they'll add Cleveland or Cincinnati. I have nothing else.
Well, before we go back on the topic of the A321neo, and I know with the fact that American has bought the new A321neo, I want to say congratulations to American Airlines. I hope those A321neos serve you well. And for anyone else who's interested in the A321neo, i.e., Frontier, what's taking Frontier so long? I want to see what a Frontier delivery would look like on an A321neo. That'd be great. What's taking so long? I know you're trying to get rid of your A319s, and that's fine, because I know they're getting a bit old. Well, not a bit, but they're old. So what's going on? What's stopping? I want to see a Frontier A321neo landing at my local airport. I would love to hear the sound of CFM leaps flying over my house. But I'm not going to be able to if you guys are holding off. What's going on?
And
shouldn't take that long.
How long is it going to take American to buy A220s? Because we all know how good that new American livery looks.
Oh, it looks good on just
Doesn't
about
matter
any
what
aircraft.
airplane it is. That livery
No.
is spot on whatever airplane they put it on.
Hell, I don't care if they could put it on a Beechcraft 1900. It would make it look amazing.
They could put it on the MD-80 and it would look the MD-80 look not so old.
They can put it on put it on an EMB. They can put it on the Embraer Brasilia,
The
and it would
EMD
still look
120.
good. It would look amazing.
And back to the whole A380 is going to last a long time. Don't worry. Look at the MD-80. That design is circa late 50s, early 60s, when the jet age was still a fairly new thing. And there's some airlines are still flying them, especially in those places where they can't afford new airplanes. Alright, I think that's going to do it. Articles, we're going to start posting links to our sources of information in the description box below. Also, you may notice the new intro that is specifically for the podcast. Like I said, I'm CMH Spotter on Instagram. Feel free to follow me there. I try my best to post about the breaking news on there before it reaches the podcast. I'm MTOS48, that is Husky Gaming 365, and we will see you